In accordance with both the National Environmental Policy Act, referred to as NEPA, and the California Environmental Quality Act, referred to as CEQA, a joint environmental impact statement and environmental impact report will be prepared to identify, analyze, and disclose potential environmental effects of the proposed project. The Forest Service and BLM are the federal co-lead agencies responsible for the preparation of the environmental impact statement according to NEPA. LADWP is the state lead agency responsible for the preparation of the environmental impact report according to CEQA. Power Engineers is assisting all three agencies in the preparation of the joint NEPA and CEQA EIS-EIR. In spring 2008, public scoping for the project was conducted to determine the scope of issues to be addressed and identify the range of actions, alternatives, mitigation measures, and significant effects to be analyzed in the draft EIS-EIR. During scoping, 2 routing modifications were proposed by the public. The first alternative is located approximately a quarter-mile west of Green Valley, along an existing fire road through National Forest System lands. This modification would avoid possible impacts to the Green Valley community. The second modification was along Segment F. It would parallel 110th Street instead of following the existing transmission lines from the Antelope substation. This modification was proposed to follow property lines and avoid bisecting private property in the area. Comments received during the public scoping period assisted the Forest Service, BLM, and LADWP to determine the scope and significant issues to be analyzed in the draft EIS-EIR. The following significant issues have been identified and will be used to finalize the alternatives and environmental analysis in the EIS-EIR: biological resources, cultural resources, land use, recreation, visual quality, earth resources, and water resources. The project team is conducting technical studies to identify potential impacts to resources caused by the construction, maintenance, and operation of the proposed project. Biological surveys starting last spring are continuing this season and will be used in defining potential impacts from the project. The project team is evaluating the feasibility of all routing opportunities for the proposed double-circuit 230 kilovolt transmission line. Through extensive and ongoing consideration, the following routing opportunities will be recommended to the lead agencies for elimination from further study in the development of the EIS-EIR. Segment D was identified as a preliminary routing opportunity from the Antelope Valley to the Castaic Power Plant. It is being recommended for elimination for several reasons. First, the segment would create overloading of existing electrical facilities south of the Castaic Power Plant. To meet LADWP's purpose and need for the project, significant modifications to the Castaic Power Plant and expansion of right-of-way south of Castaic would be required and was considered beyond the scope of the project. Secondly, the Old Ridge Route Road is a historic district on the National Register of Historic Places, and the project may significantly impact this cultural resource. Lastly, the terrain on the National Forest System lands within this area is very unstable and would present many difficulties and environmental impacts during construction, operation, and maintenance of the project. Overall, this routing opportunity would not substantially lessen the impacts of the proposed project and would likely create greater impacts. The Green Valley modification was identified as a routing opportunity through the National Forest System lands to potentially avoid impacts to the community of Green Valley. Although the modification may have less visual impacts to the community, it would increase the significant impacts to biological and water resources. The area that is relatively undisturbed in biological surveys found the area supports unique habitat called riparian conservation areas. Suitable habitat for the endangered arroyo toad and 23 species of special status plants were identified. The modification would also go through the Forest Service's designated Protected Activity Center for the California spotted owl. The modification would also locate the new transmission line significantly outside of a designated Forest Service utility corridor. The Green Valley modification is being recommended for elimination from further study because of impacts to the National Forest System lands, and it would not minimize or avoid significant environmental effects of the proposed project. However, LADWP slightly modified the proposed alignment through Green Valley to lessen the impacts to the existing residences. In addition to the no action alternative, the following action alternatives for the new double-circuit 230 kilovolt transmission line will be analyzed in the draft EIS-EIR. Here are alternatives 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. The LADWP's proposed action is alternative 4. The project team is in the process of drafting the EIS-EIR to address significant impacts of the proposed project and alternatives. The draft EIS-EIR is expected to be circulated to the public in fall 2009. The public will have the opportunity to comment on the document during the public review period and at the formal public meetings. All comments will be considered and a preferred alternative will be identified in the final EIS-EIR, which is anticipated in summer 2010. The Forest Service and BLM may issue a record of decision, and LADWP may also issue a notice of determination following the agency's decisions on the project. Design and engineering is scheduled to begin on the selected alternative in fall 2010 and is expected to be completed by winter 2011. The final EIS-EIR must be approved and a record of decision notice of determination must be issued before construction may commence. Construction of the BRRTP is expected to begin in winter 2011, and the target in-service date is anticipated in fall 2013. If you are interested in receiving project updates, newsletters, and notification for release of the draft EIS-EIR, please add your name to the attendance sheet. Please visit the project displays to review project information. Team members are available to discuss the project and answer questions. Also, please visit the interactive GIS station to see where your property is in reference to the proposed project and receive a printout. This concludes the presentation. LADWP thanks you for attending the informational public meeting and your interest in the Barren Ridge Renewable Transmission Project.